She had an extra key for my car. I didn't know it.
The car was last spotted around 3 a.m. March 27th by a Muskego police officer. Sandra's cell phone, social media, and bank accounts have been inactive since she was last seen. Her 4 children and their families offering a $10,000 reward for any information.
No, that's what I don't understand. A grandma wouldn't leave her grandkids.
That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the question. And at first I thought she was teaching me a bad lesson.
What are you telling your kids right now?
Well, they're nice to me, but at the same time, it comes out once in a while. You killed Mom. And it's not the case. But I am the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it is. All right, Chase, what do you got?
So let's first make the offer. I can teach these reporters how to take a screenshot of a photo instead of an entire web page that has a photo on it. Because it looks like somebody just Googled the car and then screenshotted the entire cell phone screen. And then they showed the whole cell phone screen on the news. That could have been cropped as well. It's just sloppy.
Having to do more with less, Chase.
Nothing deceptive about that. So I think when he's saying the words killed and mom, we're seeing a little bit of body rigidity here, not definitive deception. And his head shake and his emotion when he's making denials is actually perfectly timed. So it's maybe a point in his favor. There is some stuff there where he's at first unwilling to disparage the victim, which I think is an honesty indicator. But then he says, well, that's the question about her. You know, maybe she did do those things and maybe she was trying to teach me a bad lesson. Not sure what that means, but the reporter, for some reason, interrupts him in the middle of his answer to her question while he was going on and providing a detailed answer. She stops him and asks a completely different question. I would have loved to see the rest of his answer because I think that would have been a little more revealing. Greg, what do you got?
So when I look at, that's the question, there's a lilt to it, which I would not expect. I would think that when you're talking about an emotional thing, it's down, not lilting. Yeah, that's a question. And then he kind of breaks eye contact. When he starts here, when he is talking about her doing whatever the bad lesson was, and you see his eyes, he's drawing her with his eyes. That is usually, for me, he's concerned about what she is thinking. Pay attention to that pulling taffy or whatever you want to call it. When I draw you with my eyes, it's a sideways confirmation glance. And if you believe it, then I'll keep my story up. If you don't, I stop. Guys, none of this means that the person is guilty. This all means that if we were sitting across from them, they would get a lot more heat. We would go after them a lot more aggressively. She asked a good question, but you're right. She steps on him and then doesn't allow him to continue. He's still doing the transfer. He breaks off and goes into the emotional piece, and he's doing more of that lilt throughout the entire thing. I don't feel sorry for him here. And Chase, you were saying it earlier. Is the story about finding the person? Is the story about something else? I don't feel any of that for him. You don't feel sorrow for him. You don't feel like something's going on. In fact, it almost feels like he's saying, well, she's off doing something. She's just off doing something. Maybe it's their relationship. Maybe we'll find out that maybe she did do that. But there's a lot of red flag in his behavior, that drawing with his eyes and then breaking eye contact in that transfer so you can't talk to him. And it's a way to escape questions. I think when you think of Liar's Loop and the guy's put together a question and he's put together all this information, now he's pitching it. He's fishing to see if you believe him with a lilt in his voice and his eyes to the side. The minute you do, he moves to the next element of the story. That's a bad indicator for a person who's being truthful typically. Scott, did you start this?
No,
no.
I'll go.
Scott, what do you get?
All right. When she asked him that, when she says, what are you telling your children? He doesn't tell her. He doesn't say it. He says what they say to him. That every now and then they say, you killed Mom. He can't even get that out because I think he knows he did it. As he's trying to get that out, his brain goes, dude, don't say that. Don't say that. So that's why I think he's got a problem saying that. And then the rest of the time he's backing up. I mean, he almost backs out of the scene there, out of the picture there. And I agree with you, Chase. I think we're looking at I hate to say this in case they hear it, but it's not the greatest editing in the whole world because the edit between what we're seeing there, the reason that they didn't get the rest of that question, he may have answered it, but the edit is there when that picture is up, and you can hear him almost saying something else, and they stop it and then go on. I think that's what's happened there. Because to me, that's fairly lame. That's not a very good way to question somebody, even for a reporter. You know, she's been doing that a long time. She must have been doing that a long time. Yeah, when he says when he's talking about that isn't the case, you don't say that. You say, no, I didn't kill her. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. And I think you'd have a lot more to say than just I'm low hanging fruit at the end as an excuse. This is just, I don't know why this guy's out walking around. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so the one thing that hits me immediately is the redirect that he does. The journalist says, I don't understand. A grandmother does not leave her grandkids. And he says, that's the question. Well, no, that isn't a question. She just made a statement. That was all. It's not a question at all. That's a statement. And what you've done is redirected away from that statement by going, hey, that's a question that I can't answer. Nobody was asking you to answer a question. Somebody just made a statement, and what they were looking for was your reaction to that statement. And your reaction to that statement is to deflect away and to go, yeah, I mean, you know, we're all asking that question, and nobody is asking that question. She's making a clear statement of that is not a usual thing for somebody to do. Talk about why this is unusual, you know, make sense of that. He's not able to make sense of that. He diverts away. And at the same time, he takes his hanky or a cloth or whatever that is, and he brings it up to his face, and he does a block at that point. He puts up a barrier of some sort around then. Those two elements for me are enough for me that I'm kind of go, okay, we got something going on here before we even get into, you know, the stuff that Scott was talking about there, which just, you know, nails it. So that's what I got on that one. It's a good one.
Yeah. And I think when he puts that thing up to his face as the barrier, that's stop this and let's move to the next one. That's sort of putting an end to it. You're, in other words, you're blocking it off and then moving to the next thing. So that's
watch his eyes when he's doing that. Watch his eyes. He's making contact when he's blocking.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking, peeking around the corner.
She had an extra key for my car. I didn't know it.
The car was last spotted around 3 a.m. March 27th by a Muskego police officer. Sandra's cell phone, social media, and bank accounts have been inactive since she was last seen. Her 4 children and their families offering a $10,000 reward for any information.
No, that's what I don't understand. A grandma wouldn't leave her
Yeah.
grandkids.
That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the question. And at first I thought she was teaching me a bad lesson. But
What are you telling your kids right now?
Well, they're nice to me, but at the same time, it comes out once in a while. You killed Mom, and it's not the case. But I am the low-hanging fruit.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.